Good morning, my brothers and sisters in the faith, my friends and family, my Facebook family, and anybody else who happens to partake in this video. Even if I don't know you, I want to say good morning and happy Wednesday to you guys. Happy hump day for those who are in the corporate world. And I am just so grateful this morning that God has woken me up, woken my family up, continues to keep a roof over my head, food in our bellies, clothing on our back. We have transportation and a way to be able to maintain life on this side. And so I am really being intentional these days about being grateful. I think so often we can complain about what we don't have, what's going wrong, all the trials and tribulations that may be happening in our lives around us, and we forget to be grateful and content with what we have been blessed with. And a lot of times we miss God in the various seasons of our lives because we just can't wait for the next season to roll over. And God is saying, I want to show you something in this season. Can you be grateful for what you have instead of what you don't, and stop thinking about what you don't have and where you're not? And so for this season of my life, I am being blessed to be able to be a work from home mom due to my being a skincare professional with Mary Kay, and getting to work from home. And I'm loving it because I get to be home with my brand new baby boy. He's not brand new anymore. He's 5 and he's just getting so big. And it's also allowing me to be a blessing to my sister and another friend of mine who do need to go back to a conventional job at this time. So I will be looking after their precious little babies. And I just love that I can be in a position to do that for them so that they don't have to worry about who's caring for their baby. And still, in the same time, while being able to create an income for my family, I get to be with my babies. So God is really good. This is the season that I am, so I'm doing all that I can to embrace it and to enjoy it. And so I want to encourage you guys to do the same. And as we embark upon our word for today, we're going to go and we're just going to look at the book of Joshua again, chapter 1, verse 10, because I don't want to make these videos too long. But here is a thought, just kind of on a side note before we get into the book of Joshua. A lot of times when I'm doing these videos, I'm going to be talking about entrepreneurship because that's something that God has called me to. It's something that I've struggled with. It's something that I've flourished in. And, you know, when you look at the founders of these companies, Mary Kay, for instance, she was a believer. And she created the opportunity to help women who are in whatever season of life, whether it's a retired woman who needs something for her, she needs to get out the house, she needs something that's going to challenge her and cause her to thrive, or if it's a mom like me who needs to create an income so she can stay home, or a single mom who needs to supplement her income so that she has more money than month, or a professional who's already making a fabulous income but doesn't have the freedom and flexibility to enjoy the life that she's building, missing out on her family, not being able to go travel and do things like that. That's what this business opportunity, and not just Mary Kay, but a lot of the other home-based businesses out there, Herbalife, Paycation, Avon. There's a lot of fabulous business opportunities out there that will yield amazing success and allow not only women but also men to create the lifestyles that they want and be able to be blessings to other people by pouring into them and teaching them how to duplicate the system and utilize the vehicle of these businesses. And it's just amazing that if you stick to the foundation and you work your business with integrity, with an honest and a genuine and a pure heart, that God will bless your efforts. And my word for today, if you are in entrepreneurship, or even if you are someone who is in the corporate world, where you have a boss, and maybe there's promotions and things like that you would like, be careful to always check your intentions. Be careful that you are not so focused on what you want that people become expendable to you, that people become a stepping stone for you to get where you want to go. You should be a stepping stone for them to get where they want to go. And there's a quote, and I'm not sure who says it, but it pretty much says, if you help enough people get what they want, you will eventually get what you want. And one of the things that I really love about a lot of the hearts of the founders of these different businesses is that was their intention. They didn't build these businesses for people to come in and have the independent contractors or beauty consultants or travel agents or whatever the business may be, I'm just speaking on the ones I know of, to look at people like a number, to look at people with dollar signs on their foreheads. But to be blessed to be a part of an organization where you have a vehicle that can help someone who's struggling or wants more or is called for more, get from where they are to where they deserve to be. And it's a servitude role. And so one of the mistakes that I made when I was first in Mary Kay, and it wasn't intentional, but as I was climbing the ladder of success and I was able to promote to the top 2% of the company, that's what happened to me. My focus shifted from how does God want to use me in this company and what is it that I'm supposed to gain from this experience to let me just get whoever I need to get in place so I can get to where I need to go next. And when I got to the top, and not that I handled every situation like that, but overall when I was looking back, I did make compromises. I did try to find loopholes and ways to make it easier to get where I want to go. And people slowly just became a number to me. You know, my 5th team member, my 6th team member, my 10th team or whatever. Okay, I need to get 24 team members. I need who's going to be number 23? You know, who can I get to just sign up to help me get where I need to go? That's the wrong intentions. That is not how Mary Kay founded her company to be paid forward when sharing the opportunity. I'm sure it's not how other companies, if they are coming from a place of purity and integrity, designed for their companies to be handled. And so I was able to promote to the top. I did it in 18 months, being brand new. And when I got to walk across stage to be recognized for promoting myself to the top 2% of my company, it was the most empty feeling in the world because I hadn't done it right. I hadn't done it with full integrity every time. And I forgot to love on people. And it became about what they can do for me and where they can get me, as opposed to I'm supposed to be serving them and their needs and helping them create the income and lifestyle and freedom and flexibility that they want for their life. And so my business fell apart. And so I took a step back when I got pregnant with my beautiful baby boy. God really got my attention. I took a step back and I had to really reassess where I wanted to move, if I still was going to move forward or not, because I was not proud of the way I had gotten there. And so now I'm rebuilding. And that's the beautiful thing about God, is that He's a God of second chances. Not just in your spiritual life, but in every aspect of your life, God is there. And so don't separate your career from your relationship with God, from your marriage, from your being a parent or a student or whatever all the different dynamics are of your life. They are all intertwined and connected. And if one is off, it's going to pour into the other. And so God is so great and so merciful that if you are His child, He will only let you go so far to the left before He snatches you back and gets you refocused on what's important. And so if what you're doing, whether it's a business or whatever, isn't edifying and building up other people, should you be doing it? If it's just about you, is that really a calling? Because when God calls and equips us, He's doing it not just so that it benefits us, but so that our cups run over and can pour down into the lives of other people, the people that are around us. And I always like to think of the analogy of if you take champagne glasses and you make a champagne glass tower, and then you pour the wine into the top of the top glass, and that glass gets full, and then it gets full and it starts to pour over down and trickle into the other glasses. That's how our lives should be. If we are blessed to know Christ, we should be so full of Him that it pours over and affects everybody around us. If we have an amazing opportunity that is blessing our lives, it should be so full in us that it's sprinkling, it's pouring over, and the natural effect is that it's affecting the people around us. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, because it's been something that God has really had to work with me on, and understanding that it's not about you getting ahead. It's about everybody getting ahead. It's about taking people with you. And that's what we've been talking about in this book of Joshua, is how even though Joshua was called to leadership, he was called to lead. He may have been the visual focal point of that leadership. A leader isn't a dictator, you guys. A leader doesn't just tell people what to do. A leader simply does what that means, leads. People willingly want to follow and unite in the vision of that person. Not because they're being dictated to, not because they're being told, well, this is what you should do. No, because a leader knows his people, walks with his people. And what qualified Joshua to be so powerful is that he walked with Moses. He was there when they were in the wilderness for those 40 years. He understood what they came out of. And so the people could relate to him and respect him, and therefore were comfortable and trusting and allowing themselves to be bonded to him, to follow him as he followed after God. And so in everything we do, we need to make sure that we are human in what we do. A lot of times we want to paint a picture or create a vision of ourselves that makes us untouchable to people. And that's not real. That's fake, you guys. Nobody can connect or relate to that. Have you ever, maybe it could be in any aspect of your life, have you ever idolized somebody who just seemed like they had what you want or had it all together, just seemed so sharp and so well put together? It could be a preacher, it could be a singer, it could be somebody in your business or in your job, it could be somebody in a leadership position at your job or in an organization that you're a part of, and you just look at them and you're just so in awe of them, and then you get to know them or you see them stumble somehow in their life, and it shatters your world almost, because you're like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting this person to be human. I wasn't expecting this person to deal with those things. And so it causes you to take them off their pedestal. Nobody should be on a pedestal, nor should we put ourselves up on a pedestal and create importance for or significance for ourselves, because God has already given it to us. And so we want to make sure that in everything we do, we are real, we are authentic and sincere. And if you can't do it from that place, don't do it. Because you will not prosper if you are God's child. Because he said anything not built on the foundation of him will fall apart. And I'm going to tell you guys from personal experience that when you are divided with yourself, when you're being secular and worldly and giving into your flesh and making it all about you, but on the other side you do love the Lord, you can't stay there long. Even if you get everything you ever wanted, you will not enjoy it. It will be empty, just like my experience on that stage. And that was supposed to be a grandiose moment for me, for working hard and building my unit and helping other women succeed. I could not enjoy it and fully celebrate it in the manner that I probably could have if I would have made sure I stayed focused on what I was supposed to be doing, which is serving other people and building my business with integrity. And so it robbed me as I was robbing other people. And so when you don't have your intentions right and they are not centered on Christ and they are not centered around loving on people, what you acquire as a result of that will be unsatisfying. And there will be no glory given to God for that. Okay? And so thank God he's a God of second chances. Thank God that he will allow you to revamp. He will break you down to build you back up. He will give you a setback to set you up for a comeback. And now I'm going into my business and into every aspect of my life, my health now, with new eyes, understanding that it's not about me, but it's about allowing God to use me to bless other people's lives. And as I pay it forward to them, then my challenge to them will be pay it forward to somebody else. And so Joshua was called by God to lead the Israelites across that Jordan River into the land of promise. And as we talked about yesterday, you are the Joshua, or the Joshuas, for how many of you are watching, in your Israelites' lives, your circle of influence, your business partners, your children, your husband, your church family, your peers, whatever you're involved in, those are your Israelites. And it's your job to be their Joshua, to help them cross over. Those that will, right? Can't force anybody, but you can educate them and equip them with all the tools, but of course it's up to them to want to follow. But what I also love, and getting back to this text, I just wanted to preface with that, is verse 10 says, so Joshua ordered the officers of the people, go through the camp and tell the people, get your supplies ready. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan here to go in and take possession of the land your God is giving you for your own. So here I also want you to see that, speaking of leadership, Joshua ordered the officers. He delegated. And so as leaders, sometimes we think that it's up to us to do it all, that all the weight lies on our shoulders. And God never called us to carry that type of pressure. Even God delegates. He has ministers here on this earth to do his work, to help with the vision that he has for us as his people, as his children. And so in our lives, we need to learn to share the load. We need to learn to take what God has given us and to delegate. And trust that God is going to put the right people in place to help that come into fruition. So we don't need to worry. We don't need to stress. We don't need to be begging people to become a part of the vision God has given us. God has already placed them in the right place at the right time. It's just a matter if you're sensitive to see it when the opportunity presents itself. And so Joshua here delegates to the officers of the people. He says, hey baby. He says, go and tell the people, get your supplies ready. And so when getting ready to cross over into your promised land, there's preparation that has to take place. So don't get discouraged or disheartened because things aren't happening as fast as you think they should be happening. Nothing happens overnight that's sustained. It's always a process, and it's a journey of obedience and consistency and commitment and the ability to stay focused on God's vision no matter what the circumstances look like around you. And preparing, just like here where he said, get the people and tell them to get your supplies ready because you're about to cross over. So you don't want to miss it. A lot of us come so close to crossing over to our transition in life, but we're not prepared, so therefore we never cross over. And so what is it that God is asking you to do in preparation for the vision that he has given you? Are you just trying to float by? Are you just trying to do enough? Or are you actually taking an active role in your success and the success of others? Are you not only preparing yourself, but are you telling your people, prepare, get ready, because it's about to go down. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan here and go take possession of what the Lord your God has given you. When somebody comes to you and says that, it's like, well, I got nothing to worry about because he says I'm going to take possession of what God has for me. All I got to do is prepare. We have to do our part. God's not just going to drop things into our hands. He's going to prepare us for it. And a lot of times, if we don't have things that we think we ought to have, it's because we're not prepared to handle them. And God knows that. We're not equipped. And so let God equip you. Let him take you through sometimes the painful processes that he needs to take you through to get you ready to cross over to the land that he has for you, to gain possession of the things that he has for you in your life so that you can be a blessing to other people. And don't think that, the Israelites weren't following Joshua always. They had Moses. And so sometimes the baton needs to be passed. Sometimes it doesn't need to be all about you. Sometimes you need to allow somebody else to step up who the people can better relate with or who is better equipped to lead people into that promised land. So don't be afraid to experience life with a partner. Don't be afraid of fellowship. Don't be afraid of needing people to help you in seeing God's vision come to fruition. Because a lot of times we don't want help. We don't want to deal with people. But God didn't call us to a solo faith. It's a community faith. And in everything we do, our success, our ability to be alive and thrive is based upon relationship. Because if you go back to the book of Genesis, God said it's not good for man to be alone. We were not designed to be out of relationship. We were not designed to be out of fellowship. We thrive when our relationships are healthy, and we deteriorate when those relationships are not healthy. And so where in your life is a relationship that you need to work on? Where in your life do you need to build up? Where in your life can you honestly be honest with yourself and reflect and realize that maybe you weren't being like Proverbs 14:1 says, that a wise woman builds her house and a foolish one tears it down, that you weren't being the wise woman. Maybe you were being the foolish woman, and you've been tearing things down with your thoughts, with your words, with arguments, with your attitude and your countenance. Maybe it's not even something you're saying, but it's an energy that you have. It's just an automatic, you're shut off, right? You've already made up your mind about people. You're not going to be forgiving. You're not going to be full of grace and mercy, even though your God in heaven gives it to you every single day. Okay? So be honest with yourself and really look at every area of your life and reflect on where you may be tearing some things down and being foolish in that way. We all do it. And correct that behavior by speaking things of edification and building up. Even if you're in an argument, instead of engaging in the argument, could you stop maybe for a minute and build that person up, or stop for a minute and pray and ask that God would give you the words and the wisdom on how to deal with the situation instead of just lashing back? Could you maybe look at your finances and see how you're being foolish there and choose to do some things differently? Could you maybe look at the integrity and the work ethic you're utilizing in your job or in your business and tweak a couple of things to where it's going to build up instead of break down? We have to be honest with ourselves. Are we really prepared to cross over into what we see God has for us? Or are we just obsessed with the vision that becomes our God? We have to be careful of that. Okay? The possessions that God has for the Israelites are not meant to be idolized. They're not meant to be placed above Him. They are just a blessing from God. They are the icing on the cake. But the true blessing is the process. The true blessing is the journey. The true blessing is the crossing over and experiencing the sweet victory of God and knowing that if He did it this time, He can do it again. And if He did it in my life, He can do it in your life. And how do I pay this forward? Am I hoarding it and keeping it all to myself? Or am I paying it forward? Am I sharing the glory of God and the goodness of God and the love of God with everybody around me? Not so much in what I say, but in my energy, in my countenance, in my ability to stay away from negativity and not engage in negative conversations that don't bring glory to God, that break my brothers and sisters down, or break my spouse down, or my children down, or whoever is your circle of influence. So the question for you today is, are you a stepping stone for those in your life, like Joshua is for these Israelites, or are you a stumbling block? Simply set and focused on what you want and where you want to be, and not really truly concerned about who you're bringing with you. So that is our thought for today. That is our word for today. You must be prepared to cross over. You must be selfless in leadership, and also realizing that you are not put here to tell anybody what to do, but we are all put here to glean from one another the portion that God has given to each of us. You have a portion, I have a portion. And when those portions come together, oh, what a beautiful puzzle it is, right? And so I just want to pray that you guys all have a blessed day. I want to pray that you would choose to do faith building, love building, peace building things in your life, every aspect of it today that are going to build you up spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. All the areas of your life are just as important and deserve attention. So be prepared to cross over in all the areas in your life and take as many people who are willing to go with you. We don't want anybody kicking and screaming and coming with us. We're not here to push or pull people. We're here to lead. And God says, whoever will, let them come. Whoever has an ear, let him hear. And He says, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men to me. So if you lift Him up in every single area of your life, God will draw the right people to you. And you will be sensitive to see who He's positioned to help you get where you need to go, as you help them get where they need to go. All right, you guys, have a blessed one.